Hello and welcome to From Mike's Kitchen, where we ask the question, why just eat when you can mangia bene? Today I'm going to make for you a pot roast. It's going to be some aromatic vegetables, a shoulder of beef, some fresh herbs, accompanied by some butternut squash and some sauteed potatoes. Let's get to it. So here you see I have a piece of beef shoulder that we got from the butcher. And we're simply going to salt and pepper. We're simply going to salt and pepper the meat liberally. And we're going to add some flour. Just dusting it over. Turn the meat over and repeat the process. Salt, black pepper, and then flour. When we sear off our meat, this is to give it a nice golden color, and it's going to help thicken the sauce later on. For our other ingredients, we have carrot, celery, shallot, white onion, thyme, parsley, and fresh dried rosemary. Of course, we're going to add some pepper, a dash of tomato paste, some red wine, and some beef broth. These are all our components that are going to make up our entire dish. We're going to sear off the beef, add the aromatics, saute the bitterness out of the tomato paste, add our liquids, pop in the oven for 2 hours, and it's gonna be golden. I'm sure this is gonna be delicious. And yes, there will be no sexy butter in the recipe directly, but there might be some hidden. Watch. Add some olive oil to the bottom of our pan. We're gonna add some sexy butter. Take it, break it, and throw it in. Let this melt, and then we'll sear off our meat. Okay, now that the butter and olive oil are up to temperature, we take our piece of meat, take off any of the excess flour, and add it right to our pot. 3 minutes on each side, so we get a nice golden color, seared on the outside, still be rare on the inside. When we remove it, put it off to the plate. We will continue with the aromatics and the tomato paste for our next step. Okay, now we'll flip her over. Starting to get that nice brown caramelization on the outside of the meat. But we're not cooking it fully. We're just searing it off, sealing in the juices, making it oh so special. Rico suave. You can see that the meat has shrunken up since we put it in the pan. The meat is contracting, losing some moisture, and it's caramelizing nicely. Okay, we'll remove it, set it off to the side, and let it rest. To this, now to our pot, we're going to add our tomato paste. So we want to saute out the bitterness just a little bit. We're gonna add our aromatics. We got our carrots, garlic, our celery, shallots, parsley, rosemary, thyme, all into the pool. All into the pool. Now let's give it a little saute. Get our trusty wooden spoon and scrape that fond off the bottom. That's where the flavor is. We're building flavor in layers. We sauteed the meat, seared it off. We left some fond on the bottom of the casserole dish. And then we sauteed our tomato paste. We added another layer. Now we have our aromatic vegetables and herbs that go in. Creates another level. Doesn't that look just wonderful? Gonna cover this just for a little bit. Turn the heat down. Let the pot do its work. Break the vegetables down just a little bit before we add the meat back. Okay, our vegetables soften just a little bit. Take our shoulder, put it in the back of the pot. With any of the drippings that may have come out of the meat. We got a cup of red wine. We have 3 cups of beef broth. And let's not forget, those aren't seasoned, so we'll add a little bit of salt. And some cracked black pepper. Let's turn our meat over. Get some of all this goodness to surround it. Now we're going to pop this into the oven for 2 hours, and we should be ready to go. See you then. The oven was set for 375 degrees, convex bake. We'll set our timer, and we'll come back when it's done. Okay, now it's 2 hours later. Our pot roast is finished cooking in the oven. Let's take it out and see what we have. Take our lid off. We have a very fine cooked pot roast. Still has a little bit of density to it, but it's soft enough that the chew is not prevalent. It would make for a nice platter. Take our plate, remove the pot roast, let that sit off to the side, and then we'll put an immersion blender in here, grind up the rest of the vegetables in the broth, and make a nice rich sauce. So here we go. Everything into the pot. Let's take it to the stove. And there you have it. This is an emulsification of everything that went in the pot with the meat as it cooked. We set this off to the side, we're gonna slice our meat and bring it to the plate. Okay, now that our pot roast is well rested, we're going to cut it on a bias against the grain so it's easier to chew. It makes for a very nice plate. Look at that. Perfectly cooked. Nicely seasoned. On our finished plate, we have some fingerling potatoes that we gently poached and then we sauteed. And we have some roasted butternut squash. We're going to add our pot roast, a few slices. I'm gonna finish it with our sauce that we made. That nice, rich emulsification. Last but not least, we made some poached onion peels. Then we're gonna gently lay underneath our pot roast mixture here. And there you have it. My version of pot roast with fingerling potatoes, roasted butternut squash, and onion petals. This has been from Mike's Kitchen. Thank you for sharing. Mangia bene!